While only time will tell how the Neagley spin-off will turn out, it will likely differ from Reacher in 3 significant ways. Based on Lee Child's best-selling Jack Reacher books, Prime Video's Reacher has risen in the ranks to become one of the most valuable television IPs on the streamer. Owing to this, it is not surprising that Amazon is growing the franchise with a new Neagley spin-off show that will primarily revolve around the investigative adventures of the titular Maria Sten character. Given how Frances Neagley often comes off as the female version of Reacher, it is hard not to believe her spin-off show might share many narrative elements with the parent series. Since Reacher has already established what works well and what does not for the franchise, even the spin-off's creators will try to borrow ideas that have favored the original series so far. However, since the Neagley spin-off is not based on any Lee Child novels, it is bound to differ from Reacher in many ways. 3. Neagley is able to use technology to her advantage, unlike Reacher. Neagley has more investigative resources at her disposal. In Reacher Season 3, the Alan Ritchson character does not wish to get Neagley involved in his overarching mission. However, he still reaches out to her for help because she runs a full-fledged private investigation company. While Reacher only ends up crossing paths with the wrong kind of people because trouble finds him, Neagley officially works as a full-time private investigator. Owing to this, Neagley has many tools and resources at her disposal that allow her to do everything from tracking down dangerous criminals to uncovering the histories of criminal conspiracies. Owing to this, unlike Reacher, who does not even carry a phone with him, Neagley will use a lot more than brute strength and military experience to take criminals down in the spin-off series. Once she gets embroiled in criminal schemes, she will be able to run background checks on her enemies and find the truth about their motives through the technology she possesses before setting out to catch them. Since she is officially working as an investigator, Neagley will also legally be able to acquire the necessary weaponry and forensic devices required to protect herself from dangerous criminals. 2. Neagley will rely more on urban settings compared to Reacher. Neagley mostly works for high-profile clients. Maria Sten as Frances Neagley in Reacher Season 3 custom image by Yida Chacon. In Reacher Season 2, Neagley reveals she works with many high-profile clients and helps them with her investigation abilities, which explains why her office is located in a more urban setting. While Jack Reacher usually lurks around small-town settings and rural American landscapes, Neagley's world is seemingly rooted in big cities where most of her elite clients hail from. Even in Season 3, Neagley can be seen in a massive office, surrounded by other tall skyscrapers and the bustling energy of a corporate district. Towards the ending arc of Reacher Season 3, Neagley also hilariously uses the Xerox machine in her office to misguide the bad guys who break into her office, which highlights how her world is significantly different from Reacher's. While Reacher usually relies on brute force to fight against his enemies, Neagley makes good use of her urban surroundings to gain an edge over her adversaries. From mundane office tools and everyday objects to valuable digital data and communication devices, Neagley seems to have it all, making her spin-off quite different from Reacher. 1. Neagley's sarcastic humor is the exact opposite of Jack Reacher. Neagley's punchlines are less dry. When it comes to humor, Alan Ritchson's Jack Reacher is all about punchlines and blunt mockery. Although Reacher usually prefers saying nothing, he drops some of the sharpest and most deadpan lines when he wants to hurt his enemies with his words. Instead of relying on sarcasm and flashy humor, Reacher uses brutal honesty as a tool to poke fun at others. The lack of filter in his words and his dry delivery make him funny. Neagley's humor, in contrast, seems more intentional and, at times, riddled with sarcasm. For instance, in Reacher Season 3, she hilariously claims that the last time she saw someone bigger than Jack Reacher was on Mount Rushmore after hearing about Paulie's size. Much later in the season, she coldly eats cereal while watching a bad guy die and calls him an ambulance when he asks her to do so. While Reacher's dry humor is fun to watch, Neagley, too, comes up with some hysterical lines, which makes her upcoming spin-off show a fun addition to the franchise.